producer's point of view.
You know, so 2016, it's funny, I just did a post on that today. 2016, I was diagnosed with stage 4 endometriosis, had emergency surgery. You know, I went into the hospital, was like about 113 pounds, left the hospital with 75 pounds.
Wow.
Ended up losing all my hair, woke up, hair just all over the bed.
Wow.
Had to go shave it all off. And I went through a very deep, dark depression, you know, figuring out what was the purpose of life, you know, questioning God, like, what the hell? Like, what is all this? Why is all this happening? The person I was with left me for somebody else.
Right, because they didn't stay down.
You know what I mean? But they were, you know, we spoke afterwards, and they were young and dumb and all of that stuff or whatever. We good now. But it was just a lot for me to be going through, you know? And so that's 2016. Then I went from there. I went on a path of doing self-discovery. I wanted some courses to help me basically improve myself.
Right.
I've always been big on education, and that's one of the firm pillars of who I am today. Education, confidence, self-improvement. You know, getting that education for self-improvement, always evolving. And so I did those courses. Learned a lot and kind of bloomed from that. You know, I found myself again, found my purpose again, found my passion again.
Love those P's.
Come on, you know what I mean? POP, Pioneer Podcast.
Pioneer with a pioneer purpose.
Come on, let's go. So all of that happened 2017, 2018, that started happening. I had stopped my company at that point, the company that was doing like all the management for artists and the marketing consulting.
We're about to rebirth that company. That company's about to come back.
It's all revamped, but we'll get into that. But so I stopped that, and I was like, I just want to be a waitress. You know, I need to put a pause on everything.
Right.
So I went to a restaurant. I just walked up to a restaurant and was like, yo, how can I get a job? You know, and
how can I get a job? Number one question.
I never had background in restaurant life at all.
You just
and I was
went.
just
That's like the easiest.
How can I become a waitress?
Outside of DoorDash.
Listen, they were like, we are not hiring anyone to be a waitress. You have to be trained for that, but. You know, they saw my look and they were like, you could be a hostess.
Right.
So, you know, I came
at the
in.
front of the store?
Right, exactly. Greeting people, seating them, da-da-da-da-da. So I was like, all right, let me do that, whatever, at that point. And then, like, a week later, the person who was heading up HR, I was filling out my paperwork with her, and she was like, you have a lot of background.
Background.
And she said, you know, how do you feel about doing marketing for the restaurant? They ended up hiring me director for marketing for the restaurant. You know what I mean? For events. So, yeah.
All right. So, listen, and that's just half. That's just half of the story. We didn't even get into the good stuff. We didn't get into the book and the influence and all that. So, let's go to a break. This is, you know, Party 101. This is our station identification segment. Probably some new music, commercial, or whatever we decide to play that's influential coming up next here on the producer's point of view. Be right back.
The new Party 1019. The new Party 1019. The new Party 1019. New York's #1 for throwbacks. The Big Apple is cranking real throwbacks.
New York City.
The new Party 1019. New York's #1 for throwbacks.
All right, we back. That was a nice, refreshing mix right there. Party 101.9 is the station. The Matrix Studios is the network, and we are live on the producer's point of view. Sometimes blasted through iHeartRadio, sometimes blasted on Nexus. Not Nexus. Yeah, but Nexus is the studio, Nexus Plus, and we're here for it right now. I got my good, my great pal in the building, and she is just breaking down all of the gems. Well, we didn't even get to the gems. You just got a chance to
get into it now.
Yeah, to how you got here. So, all right. So you gave me a book, right? I got a book that you wrote. Let's talk about the book because I want to get into how you got to creating that book.
Yeah. So the book is called Finding Some Motivation, and it really stems from what I went through in 2016.
Right.
When I went through the depression, I had to find my way out of it, you know, and when you're depressed, sometimes it's a heavy feeling, like you just don't feel like getting up. You don't feel like doing anything.
Were you ever able to define your depression? Like what triggered it and how the things that made it worse and the things that helped make it better? At the beginning, the middle, and towards the end of it?
Yes and no. I was able to step by step. I had to do it daily of like, what's happening right now? Like, how do I feel right now? What am I feeling right now that's not allowing me to move past this feeling of heaviness, right? So I had to do it like a day by day thing. But in overall, it was just like rejection. You know, I was depressed because I looked in the mirror and I didn't like what I saw.
Right.
You know what I mean? I lost so much weight. I had no hair. You know, the person I was with left me. Like all those things was just like rejection and the fear of like, am I good enough?
Right.
You know, am I good enough? What is the point of all of this if I feel like it's not really making a difference, or if, you know, the things in my heart, the people that I want, they don't even want me back, like all that kind of things was really weighing me down. And then so I took it day by day in terms of what I actually did was I kept praying, and the little ounce of faith that I had left, I would just be like, God, you know what, today I'm just going to focus on what I'm grateful for. And I would wake up and I would just be like, thank you for my bed. Like I would have to look around, and anything that I see, I would just recognize that it's there. I could see it and just say, I'm thankful for it.
Do you remember what was one of your longest bouts with depression?
Bouts? I mean, I was depressed. I was depressed for 2 years.
Straight?
Straight. 2 years.
365 times 2?
Yes, straight. I literally for 2 years, you see that grateful thing that I just told you? Every single day I would wake up, and there were time periods where I would have to say thank you throughout the whole day with every thought, because my thoughts would veer off into a depressive state. So if I didn't focus it back on what I was grateful for, I would start crying. Like I would be walking down the street, I would be on the train, I would bust out crying. Like it was bad. It was bad. I would go to work at the restaurant, leave, cry. You know what I mean? So I was so thankful sometimes I would stay there late, just so that I don't have to think about anything else, you know, because I felt lost. I felt like, you know, I had stopped my company. I stopped working with people.
So you threw away all the things you were passionate about and just sat in the depression. You know, I realized doing some depression, that is the worst thing you could do. If you don't at least do the things that you enjoy doing, you're going to be sitting in that. It's almost like depression is like mud or like
quicksand.
Like a quick layer, and things that you like are like ropes to pull you out of it.
Right.
You know, and the least of those that you have, the more you're just gonna just sit there like I'm just gonna just die right here.
On the flip side, though, the good thing is when you allow yourself to sit in it, what happens is some people pull themselves out too quickly, and then they just become in robot mode, and they're just going. But when you get to the point where the depression comes all the way up to your nose, the quicksand comes all the way up to your nose, it's like all of a sudden a light bulb goes off on what real purpose is. It's like all of a sudden you have a new revelation and a love for life, because you realize how much you're about to die in it. You know what I mean? You have to get to that point where it kind of consumes you to realize what is really important and what your purpose is and like all of that stuff. Because if you come out too soon, you just are in robot mode without the spark. You kind of need that spark to get you on your purpose and your assignment. You know what I mean? So
speaking of purpose, so then how does that get you to creating a book?
Yeah.
Because in that book you have a lot of things. So let's talk about the book. Let's give them the...
Yeah. So finding some motivation. So I basically, in writing the book, I wrote, it's a nice quick read. I wrote it quickly on purpose so that if someone's going through depression, they don't got to sit there and be like, oh, I'm never going to read through this. Like you can read it in one day. Right. You know what I mean? In 1 hour, maybe 2 hours if you're a slow reader.
That's me. You don't have to tell my business like that. If you're a slow reader.
But it's literally a chapter by chapter of what I did and examples of what is happening in your life and what you can do practically to get the motivation that you need. Like it's practical things. It's not just like, you know, fluff. It's practical things that you can apply right away when you feel like you're not motivated, or how to get motivated. Right. You know what I mean? Like I'll give you one thing is I have a chapter in that talks about tribe and community and how that's important. And one thing about not having motivation is a lot of times it's because whether it's depression or whatever, it's a form of depression, you are so focused on yourself and how you feel that you don't see anything else. And in order to come out of that, you have to take your eyes off of yourself and you have to kind of serve somebody else. You have to look at your community. You have to see the needs of other people, because in depression, it's just, I feel this. I'm sad. I don't understand why this happened. It's all I. And that's why I said that quicksand thing is really important, because you look so much internally that all of a sudden you realize, like, oh, it's me. I got to get out of this. I have to look around and, you know, grab this. I find purpose in this now. I find purpose in this, you know, and usually those things that you're grabbing is outside external things.
Right.
It's not you anymore, you know.
Okay. So the book, I have two. I have a small one and a big one. What was the point of doing that?
So you have the travel size one, so you can carry it with you everywhere you go. You can read it on the train, take it to the restaurant. You don't got to worry about bringing a big book. Right. It fits in your back pocket. And then the other one is a daily planner, so you can plan out your days and have goals.
It's so greatly put together that I haven't written in it yet, because I'm like, I don't want to mess this thing up. This thing looks perfect.
Write in it. Listen, there's more to come. You'll be fine. Write in it. And I even have a digital version one, so that you can carry it in your phone. You can use your daily planner like on your phone. If you want, I'll send you the link to that one, so you don't have to write in the book if you don't want it. You know what I mean?
I like the idea of writing in the book. I just like you have it broken down in a way where like you really have to pay attention to what you know what it's asking you to do, and the questions is I think the parts that get me intimidated is like, how much do this today? How many times you gonna do that? You got to do this. You got to do that. And I'm just like, hi, I got stuff that I do. I do a lot of stuff, so I just gotta find where it all goes. Sometimes it does not represent it on the chart. Maybe you might have something that says other on it, and I just missed it because I didn't have my glasses.
Yeah, there's a whole notes section where you could just write out like
a freestyle.
Yeah, you could freestyle.
Step outside of the lines.
You could step out of the lines if you need to. But the important things about the lines and having those boundaries is, it gives you something to aim for. So even if you miss it, it's okay. And that's the beauty of it, right? Sometimes people think like, oh my gosh, if I don't hit this, that's what you were going back to before when you said, I'm scared of the structure because then it doesn't give me the freedom kind of to like go out. But who put you in the box? The lines didn't put you in the box. Right. You put yourself in the box.
Right. Yeah, and nobody else is going to read it's my book.
Exactly.
Like, I can read it and write whatever the hell I want to do.
Whatever, change whatever, flip it up. But at least you know what your goalpost is.
Right, and that's what I would really want to, because I have a book from like 2020. I got a book from like 2000. I got like all of these like journals that I had, but they never fill all the way day to day. Like I be skipping days sometimes, but they're consistent in the way that they are. When I have ideas, or if I'm building a studio, or if somebody's paying me money, like I got documents of the way that things used to be in certain years, enough that I can put it together and see the path of how I became who I am. So your book, I think, will allow me to really sum up this 25 years. I think that's probably what it is. I really wanted to. I want to use it like a business plan, like to structure out the things that I'm doing, to say that this is the goal, because you have some goal questions in there too. And don't you have a course or something that people can join that could?
Yep.
Right.
So that's like the accountability group I have. It's literally to help people who need structure.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's I have this business. I got
number
this.
one client right now. Structure slasher.
You know, it's like, okay, cool. You have all those things, but what have you been procrastinating on? Right. What has been delayed? Let's get you to the point where you're not procrastinating anymore and you're hitting your goals. So
I did the exact opposite. So I sat around with ideas and never not wanting to do something, but kind of like
doing it all.
Like, yeah, before I got to the doing all part, I was on Clubhouse. I was doing all of this talking and creating content, but it was like spinning my wheels in one way. And then when I got this space in the last November, which is about to be a year, it clicked back to what I love to do. I love to have a space and to decorate it and to invite people. Like, that's my thing. That's what I do. I like to bring people together. Hosting. Yeah, I love to it's not even, and it's not like it says DWI all over. They got some pictures in here, but it's really about,
you have a nice aesthetic in here.
Yeah, people having a place where they can, like, you know, just like they wear Nike, Adidas and all that, DWI has to be a household name, to know that it stands for networking and being influential. Like, it's not, you can't get away from those two parts. DSN Network is on the logo, and the most influential producer, you know, be influential with DWI. But anyway,
I love that.
The point of what I'm trying to say is that your book, you know,
and the accountability program.
Yeah, right. And those things that you have going, I want to be a part of helping you push that, because there's a lot of people that don't really know that they have those problems. And you can be high functioning like me.
Yep.
And I talk to you all day today, And I know what I need. I know what's missing to get me to the next level that I want. Might not be what everybody else expects from me, but I just know that there's a certain type of team and role players that I need that do certain things.
Yes, and I love that you said that about high functioning, because the thing about it is I was a high functioning depressive person before I hit that rock bottom where I became low functioning. So I know what it is to be high functioning, to always be working, always be doing this. Like when you met me, I was always doing something and I was always busy, but I was actually in a depressive state and didn't know it. You know what I mean? And that's crucial. Now I know what that looks like, and I also have the tools and I'm equipped because I went through the coaching, I went through the training, I went through the education to not only improve myself, but to help improve others.
There's a saying I say, you got to go through it to get through it. Like if you don't know what it looks like, if you don't know, what fire feels like, you're going to touch it until you get burnt, and then you're not going to do it again.
Exactly.
Some people are a freak for pain and they just keep walking into the fire, and it is what it is. But give them the information where they can contact you and how they can get involved with everything you got going on, because this is just the first part. But you are an extension and a part of this team, so they will be seeing a lot more of you. But this is just an introduction, just so that they can get more familiar with Ms. Donna Marie.
Listen, anyone who wants to be a part of the accountability program, my website is www.flourishing, FLOURISHING, so flourishing, and then here, HERE.com, and that is my Instagram handle as well, flourishing here. Threads, obviously the same thing. I'm trying to think where else I am. I started my YouTube channel as well, so flourishing here. If you type in Donna Marie Flourishing Here, or if you just type in Flourishing Here, one word, no spaces, you should be able to find me there. I'm actually doing a series on YouTube about what you can do to like come out of depression, to find motivation, like what are the tools, and just different things that, I've always been a brand strategist. So talking about brand strategy, how do you build up your brand, from the beginning to the end, right. We did a video earlier. I might put that up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I might make it to the wall of fame.
Where I'm breaking down with clients about how do they see their brand and how to take their brand to the next level in terms of branding, and so
okay,
that's me, that's where I'm at.
All right. Well, I appreciate you for being a guest on the Producer's Point of View and letting everybody know how you produced your product and how you get from A to B to Z. Thank you for coming out, and I will definitely be showing off my book and putting it to work.
We getting you in the program. We getting you in
and I'm getting enroll me.
Yes.
Yeah, number one client.
Let's go.
All right, thanks everybody for tuning into this episode. You already know how this goes. Just stay tuned for the next episode, because there will be a next, and you can watch this, listen to this anytime. It's never gonna go old.
We might give tips in the next one.
Yeah, we might get some tips too. Might do some giveaways too for the holidays. Might give some of these books away.
Yes.
All right, we'll be back. If you listen to the radio, then stay tuned for the music that's coming up next. If you're going to tune off on one of these platforms, then tune off and do whatever you got to do with your life. We'll be back next time.
DWI Music.